Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program PvP. I'm 4040 and today I am going to be having a look at some new designs and perhaps coming up with some cool new things to play with. Well, today we're going to be sitting back a little bit and we're going to be concentrating on building some cool stuff in preparation for what's going to be happening further on in the series. Now, I have a little bit of housekeeping to do, so the first thing I need to tweak is my multiple assault launcher that I took up last time with the drones, because the drones are a little bit broken. Once I fix these, I can explain a little bit about what else is happening in the series. Let's turn that off. So, as we can see here, this is the full launch stage for the last mission that I ran to Minmus, to clear out Minmus and win it back for the free corporations, as I have said that I don't want to keep Minmus. Minmus is something that should be free for all corporations to use. I'm keeping the Mun is mine. And I have a few of the other planets further out, but Minmus is a useful leapfrog, stepping stone, as to say. But to capture that, I had to send this up, and this, well, you're looking at one of two drones. The other one's just over there. They're identical. These fuel pods kept falling off, and I'm not sure what's going on there. So let's move that battery out of the way. So I'm thinking, let's move that battery out of the way, put it up here as well. So these guys had a couple of major problems. Structurally, they just fell apart. Now these are all are double, triple and reinforced, and the game for some reason forgot that they were attached. It doesn't look like they're attached. You see there's a space in between them, but these should be attached. They were put on the side here, so I'm thinking of reinforcing these. We also need to put some power generation on, so let's go to our utility and let's have a look at some power generation modules. We've got batteries. Now we can either go for the thermoelectric generators, which well, they've only got a mass of 0.08 as opposed to going for a solar panel, which is a bit heavier but is, yeah, so 0.05 is lighter, and these guys have got quite a lot of battery power and shouldn't run out of I think one of these, just to keep it topped up while it's in the dark, and then a couple of these photovoltaic panels, because they're nice and small. Although I do quite like these ones here, because they move around and readjust themselves to the sun. I might put myself one of them on instead. Okay, so structurally, let's have a look. Take that off. There we go. Okay, so we've got one of these on either side, which means that this should now okay, gonna have to do these one at a time by the looks of it, so let's just bring that back to the single. Okay, and then let's copy that and put it over on this one that's wonky. That is wonky. Okay, let's just put that down for a second, just in the space, and let's just make this chap happy and flat. There we go. Obviously didn't like where he was. There we are. Put that on there, so that's looking alright, and there's no parts clipping by the looks of it. He's slightly off to the side, so I need to move him. There we go. That's looking good. They're more or less about the same. So now we just need to remove this camera because we've already got one. Goodbye, camera. Okay, we've got that camera there, which is effectively our gun cam. Let's look. So we just need to reinforce this now. And then we need to sort the staging out. Okay, so that is all generally strutted up, top, front, bottom. Those struts are all good. So let's find these chaps here, because I'm not sure where it would have put them. So those shouldn't ever activate. When this decouples, this should be a different thing. But I guess if the fuel runs out, so talking fuel. So like I said, these need to tweaking. So that's hopefully the structural issues dealt with. They're not going to get tested much, to be honest, because the structural problems that we had last time didn't exactly cripple the ships. They were just annoying. So hopefully that's fixed it. So next problem. Now the next problem is something that I have just realised, which is rather silly of me, is I didn't put any fuel flow between the outer tanks to the inner tanks. So that's what I need to do. Let's just put that there. And that should copy it. And then put that here. Yeah, that looks... Now that does not look right. The arrows aren't pointing in the right direction now. They're pointing in the right direction now. Okay, so now we've got the fuel issues worked out. So last but not least is going to be my utilities. So let's sort our power generation issue out. So I want to have one small thermoelectric generator, which I'm actually putting here. And light flat. I'll do. I'll put that. Go, and that's copied. So that's kind of lying within the surface of the ship inside. There you go. It's one of the tricks I've learned is those little generator things. As long as the tip of it is somewhere clear, you can actually have it kind of clipping into something else, and it doesn't seem to cause any issues. And now I want a long one. Now, realistically, I think it only needs one. It'll look a bit unbalanced and a bit stupid, I guess, but shouldn't be a problem. Oh, I can put two on just for the sake of my kind of wanting it to be neat and correct. Yeah, I'll put two on, and I'll put one here. And that should have copied it to the side, and one here. And just in case those both fall off, I'm going to put a panel right about here. Now, that little panel there is just for emergency reasons. It's copied it nicely over. Okay, so we've got power generation. We definitely have enough battery life. We've got plenty of battery. We've got plenty of onboard batteries and stuff. We've got extra power generation. We've sorted out the fuel flow problem, and we've sorted out the structural issue. So I'm going to say that this ship is I'm going to save it, and is clear for launch. So for when I need to use it next, this will be my probably my next main launch, depending on what needs doing, of course. I suspect that in the future, coming up, we're going to need some different ships and vehicles, and well, let's just exit. out of here and I'll explain to you what's going on. We're going to go into the airplane hangar. We're not going to be building any spaceships today. The Northern Coalition have been blocking a lot of our spy satellites in orbit, which are trying to keep an eye on what the Northern Coalition is currently up to. And the Northern Coalition we've been blocking their satellites as well. But we've managed to find some interesting information that's worrying me. Now, this interesting information is that the Northern Coalition appear to be massing forces on the borders with the free corporations. Now, until recently, it looked like the Northern Coalition's land war had stalled in favour of them pushing out into space and trying to destroy as many of the free corporations' assets in space around Kerbin, around Minimus, around the Mun. They've generally been concentrating on the space fighting. Until now, that is. Now, we're not sure whether this is their plan B or whether the entire space the entire space fighting was a ruse, a very expensive, very costly ruse. They've lost an entire fleet, capital ship, multiple support ships, lost them all with minimum losses on my behalf. Look at him doing donuts. So they've amassed, we think, 3 major armies on the borders with multiple support groups, and these armies look mostly mechanized. It's they do seem to favour a blitzkrieg type of assault. That's how they've taken out some of the other corporations like Nightshade Industries and Tuxedo's Industries were attacked and taken over. Their landmasses, well, the Northern Coalition invaded them and took them over. Now, it was a surprise attack, and as much as those corporations were geared towards dealing with issues in space, they didn't have particularly standing ground armies. We understood that the Northern Coalition at that time was meant to be protecting us, acting as a third-party watching kind of agency. Well, then they attacked us, and now the Northern Coalition have amassed forces, and I need some vehicles to deal with this. So my first vehicle, I was thinking, well, if I've got tank columns coming across open country, what my spy planes will have picked up, and I'm planning on building a spy plane. I'm planning on building, starting to build a heavy bomber, which is going to be high atmospheric. So this is what we're building now, and I also plan on building some tanks, some armoured vehicles. So let's have a look. This is the heavy bomber that we're going to start building, and well, we need some fuel tanks for this thing. This is the HL mods. I think I'm leaving structural for this. This is where they mostly gone. Here we go. So this is I need HL universal body. That's what I need. Okay, so HL universal body. There we are. Let's copy that twice. Actually, let's. I was thinking, right, this is going to be a bomber, and there we go. See, that's huge, a huge cargo bay. 4 meters will do. And let's spin you around. Okay, so let's just lift you up off the floor a little bit. This is the main body of the spaceship. We're going, well, spaceship? Aeroplane. We're making aeroplane. Next part variant, liquid fuel, that's what we want. And liquid fuel, that's what we want. And we've got a bay, a bomb bay in here. Next tank fuel, yes. We'll have some liquid fuel as well. Let's just close the bay doors. Now, this isn't going to be its only payload. I just thought that having a small bomb bay in the middle of the ship would be useful. And a lot of the munitions are probably going to be mounted under the wings. So, let's... we've got universal tail. Universal tail. Is this a raised tail? Okay, so what's that? That's a raised tail. Oh, I see. So you've got one that's streamlined, and one that's kind of fat, and with a cargo ramp. The cargo ramp's not so useful, to be honest. This is pretty much just going to be a structural piece. Let's have a look. Universal tail. So let's... Next part variant, let's have a look. Ah, okay. So we've got a downward sloping. Medium. Whoa, wide. Okay, that's pretty wide. Just kind of flat and raised, lowered, straight. Okay, I want raised liquid fuel, so there we go. Reason being is, well, this is going to be quite heavy craft, and I want it to be able to take off, so that's what we're going for. So that's the main body of the ship. So that's the centre of mass, and we need centre of lift. Now currently the centre of lift is in the floor because we've got no wings, so we're going to sort that out really quickly. Now this heavy wing is actually quite good, but I don't just want one, I want two. Put it here. Okay, so that's X for copy. Okay. Now I want this this ship to have plenty of lift. Actually, I'm doing this the wrong way around. So let's put the back ones on first. So that's about right. So I can fill in this area here, or leave it as it is. I quite like that. It looks like a giant dragonfly. So we've got the main lift. Now this is a lot of lift, but we're going to be carrying quite a lot of weight, because this is designed to, let's have a look, stabilizers, winglets. I prefer to have a winglet on the tail. Let's have a big one. Winglet 6x5. That's the baby. That's my puppy. So these are going to be helping pull them back a bit. So currently the lift is behind the weight. Basically, if you have it as close to that as possible, it's going to be a stable craft. If you've got it far away, then it's not. Right, I actually want two of these. Space them out very slightly. Now this is all going to get reinforced, but basically I want as stable a craft as I can build, because this is going to be a high altitude, high level bomber. Now these are all going to need obviously lots of reinforcing, but these are some very nice control flaps. So let's, talking of control flaps, let's put some control flaps on the wing itself. Now we should have some nice ones, some fairly large ones. Here we go. One here. Let's give this plane lots of control surfaces, because, like I said, high altitudes. I kind of want it to be up and above. Okay, so those control surfaces are all there. Let's find a air panel kind of thingy to put in here. It's a nice wing panel. Fill in the gap, so to speak. Let's see. Perhaps a delta wing, because I can flip it. Nah. No, I'm not too bothered. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to strut these up, and that should be fine. So let's just do that. Let's put some heavy struts on here. Standard canard, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I like them. Okay. Just to help. Now that's pulled it forward slightly, so let's just grab hold of the ring. And let's pull them forwards a little bit. That's better. That's a lot better, actually. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it appears it's broken some of our struts. They've disappeared. But, never mind. So, joining us for recording today are my the two kittens. We've got Max and Grebo, who are in the room with me, currently just derping around and making noises. So, if you do hear anything random, it's probably them. They're growing up fast, actually. Growing up very fast. Cute little things. Cute little buggers. Just move that one down just a bit. Extra support here. And then the same underneath. And then we can retweak these as necessary based on weights of weapons, I think. Okay, so wheels. Let's put some wheels on it, stick some engines on it, and then see if she will fly. And then we can put some, let's have a look, put some weaponry on her. Okay, so we want some proper heavy wheels for this. Heavy duty landing gear, here we go. Heavy duty. Okay. So, single wheel, double wheeled. Okay, so let's put single wheel on the front. Because otherwise we're not going to be able to steer anything. Have we got a high, a long one perhaps, on the gears, or is that the only one I get? We've got this little guy. But he is tiny compared to what I actually need. I know it seems a bit odd, but I'm actually no, they're not. They're not something I want. There you go. I'm going to put them on the rear in case we come down particularly heavy on the tail. And they should aid us in lifting off, meaning that we don't hopefully slam our tail into the floor too quickly. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, so engines. Engines are going to be going under the wings. So let's have a look at what we've got. And we've got the turbofan engine, which is max thrust on 6.4. Max thrust 198. Now I do like these engines because they're gimbaled. They really will help the craft move around if in emergencies. We've got the Sabre engine, which is not so great. 18,000 ISP. Yeah, 2,000. That's the medium Sabre engine, though. We don't need a rocket engine after all. Oh, we've got turbofan, subsonic. So that's got an ISP of 18,000, ISP 18,000, the same height. Power is 198, 97, 164, but they've got the same ISP at roughly this 2,000 kilometers, which is we're basically going to be above that. So we're going to have a load of them. So where to mount them on the engine? Well, we're going to need some structural engine mounts. Now there should be some cool engine mount. There might be an aerodynamic actually. Yeah, here we go. These are the engine mounts you see with the round bit on the back, so they're intakes as well as mounts. So that's a lot of air intakes, but I'm hoping that's enough for us to be able to go quite high up and be able to stay above the range of the enemy's air to grounds weaponry. So you see there, they're more or less equal, so this should be a relatively stable craft. Let's see now. Air brakes. Oops. Let's copy that. So we've got some air brakes. Now these are going to help us when coming back into land. She's a big, heavy craft. The air brakes will help us if we come in too hot to slow down. I'm hoping. Let's. Yeah, don't want Jebediah. Just gonna go for some randoms. Let's go action groups, brakes. Let's give this a title. So we are the Criax Industries Private. Okay, so this is our heavy bomber. It's going to have other weaponry. I'm planning on putting missiles on it for if I get close. It's going to have some bombs for high altitude bombing. It's going to have some guns on it, various different guns. I'm thinking about having some cannons just pointing off the side so we do some gunship kind of action. And I was thinking of having a load of 50 cals covering my ship so that if I have missiles fired at me, 50 cals should take care of it. So let's go to launch and let's see if this baby flies and how she flies. See if it works at all.